Real talk, who of us here have had a hard time breaking our pimple popping habit? Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare and sometimes self-care. So if that's your vibe, please consider hitting subscribe. And yes, I have popped my pimples in the past. I have popped my pimples in the present. And I can tell you, it's a really hard habit to break. And this is not going to be the type of video where I tell you how bad it is to touch your face and push and pick and pop your pimples, because we already know that. But what we really need are those practical tips to help us to stop doing that, and that's what today's video is. If you are so ready to find out the 3 ways you can stop popping your pimples, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. Okay, so my first tip for you is to keep your fingers off your face at all costs. Easier said than done, I know, but I do find that when I'm constantly exploring what's going on, all the bumps and pimples and little things happening underneath my skin with my fingers, I am so much more tempted to get in front of the mirror and start pushing and picking and popping, right? So really the first step is to try to lessen how much you are touching your face. So if you're somebody who likes to touch your face kind of like just mindlessly throughout the day while you're working, or maybe you're at school or whatever, try to keep your hands busy. You know, try to get some of that like putty that you can play with to keep your hands busy, or I really like worry stones. You can just like move them around in your fingers and it just gives you something to do. So if you're in a boring presentation or on a call and you want to touch your face, pull something out that keeps your hands busy instead. Try to wash your face with like a washcloth or even like a Konjac sponge, because the less that you're touching your face and really like exploring everything as you're working cleanser into your skin, the less likely you're gonna feel all the lumps and bumps, the less likely you're gonna feel the little gritty, you know, hard bits in your pores. So I do find that like when I'm using something in between my fingers and my face during the cleansing process especially, can really cut down on that temptation. In addition to your acne fighting skincare like spot treatments, chemical exfoliation, you know, even prescription creams, in addition to that, you might want to consider adding in like a sheet mask or a wash off mask. Like clay masks especially are really good if you have congested or acne prone skin. And the reason I'm bringing up masks is because they're kind of like that quick fix or that quick hit. And I do find that like when I'm really tempted to pop a pimple, it's because I'm looking for a quick fix. I am trying to get that pimple out of my life. I'm trying to speed it up. I'm trying to make it go away faster, right? So instead of spending 3 days with the pus moving up to the surface, maybe I'll just speed it along by popping it. No, don't do that. Instead, alongside of a really good acne fighting skincare routine, right, add in some masks when you're tempted to pop your pimples, because oftentimes sheet masks do give us that little quick fix that we're looking for. I really like the Benton Goodbye Redness Centella sheet mask when my face is really red and inflamed. You know, when you've got those really like tender, painful pimples coming up, use this mask because it really helps to reduce the redness. It helps the swelling. It reduces the inflammation. It can even help a little bit with some of that pain because it's jam-packed full of Centella, which, you know, wonderful for soothing the skin. It's also such a great hydrating ingredient for the skin, but it's also an ingredient that helps to speed up healing of the skin, wound healing. And that's really an important thing you want to look for in your supportive skincare products when it comes to fighting pimples and acne. So whenever I use this sheet mask, it calms my skin down. It really reduces redness and inflammation and can kind of take away that angry look that your skin can get sometimes when you have those inflamed pimples. I have, and I can't promise you anything, but I have found sometimes when I have pimples coming up, when I use this mask, it seems like just like the severity of them is like lessened. You know what I mean? So when you're looking for a quicker fix, when you're looking to speed up that pimple or just help it look a little bit better, I really like to grab a sheet mask to get that quick fix. Another one that I'll recommend is also from Benton, the Snail Bee sheet mask. This is nice because it has a lot of those same soothing, anti-inflammation, and antibacterial properties, but this one's get a little shot of brightening with niacinamide in it too. So every time I use this one, I get a glowier complexion, which sometimes is all I need when I have a pimple coming up. If I can just kind of even out and make the rest of my skin glow, I'm less likely to want to pop that pimple. I will say I am going to talk a lot about like popping and pressing and pushing on pimples. But I'm gonna say that I do like to press sometimes on the pores on my nose because they get really gunky and I get lots of stuff that comes out of them. But we know that pushing on the skin is bad. And sometimes I do like more damage than I was really intending to do when I just wanted the satisfaction of cleaning the gunk out of my nose pores. So that's why I want to recommend the Isntree Mugwort Clay Mask, because this is, you know, the type of mask that kind of helps suck some of that extra oil out of your pores, kind of helps suck some of the gunk, or at least bring it a little closer to the surface so that you can, you know, get at it with your chemical exfoliants, right? It just kind of helps to clarify the pores. And so instead of pushing on things and possibly making things worse, inflaming, or possibly even like, you know, infecting your skin, right? Just use the clay mask when you're tempted to push on your gunky pores. And once you wash it off, you'll notice they look smaller, they look tighter, they look a little bit cleaner. So my number 2 strategy is to protect and cover the pimple. And this is really to, you know, cover it up so we're either not seeing it or feeling it, right? But also to help promote the healing and speeding up that pimple, because like I said, popping it is one way to speed it up, but protecting and covering is a much more gentle approach to speeding up a pimple. And of course, we have to talk about pimple patches. I mean, these are a godsend. I'm so glad these were invented, because not only do these suck the juice out of pimples, help flatten them out, and help to facilitate healing, they also just protect your pimple. So they can be an amazing tool for keeping your fingers off of your face, right? Put a patch over your pimple. You're going to be less tempted to pop it, because you just, I mean, honestly, when you put a pimple patch on, sometimes you can't even see the pimple as well as you could before. Sometimes it kind of masks the redness and sort of like that bumpy area on your face. So sometimes it's just easy when you have a pimple patch on your pimple, when you walk past the mirror, you barely see the pimple. So that helps right there, right? But it can also help protect the blemish when you're putting makeup on. It can also help protect your skin maybe after it has released or popped, and help facilitate healing and keep it clean as it does that. So there's lots of different pimple patches out there, different varieties, different sizes, different price points. Some of the ones that I recommend, I do like the ones from Hero Cosmetics, the Mighty patches. I also like the by Wishtrend pimple patches, the Cosrx ones, and the ones from Purito. Speaking of Hero Cosmetics, I have to tell you about their nose patch. So it's a giant pimple patch, but for your nose, and it is designed for people like me who know there's a lot of gunk inside of your nose pores and you're tempted to push it all out, right? Remember I was talking about that? Instead of doing that, which is, trust me, it's not a great habit. Use this instead. It gives you the satisfaction. It's almost even more satisfying because you see it all on the patch. Like, put this on before you go to bed, and in the morning you will be so satisfied at all the stuff that was drawn out of your pores. It's maybe even more satisfying than a clay mask because it's all right there, and it's a lot more gentle than those like those pore strips that you ripped off of your face, right? It's way more gentle than that, and I feel like it's a lot more effective too. After a pimple has been popped, or simply after you've done the right thing and just patched that pimple, but maybe you're left with kind of that raw, kind of open skin, right? I would suggest something like the Hero Rescue Balm for that instance, because this is a product that's designed to lessen the effects, you know, the aftermath of a pimple, because this is a skin repairing cream. This helps to lessen the redness, the inflammation, and it helps to signal to your skin. It has some skin repairing peptides in it. It signals repair. So it helps to mend the skin, close it up a little bit faster, and help with a little bit of a cleaner healing process, which might help lessen the effects of dark marks, possible scarring, right? And just like skin damage. It just kind of helps that area bounce back a lot faster. I found a lot of benefit with that because there is that regret after you've popped your pimple. You're like, oh no, what have I done? You stand back from the mirror and you're like, I made things worse. use this cream. If you get a lot of redness with pimples, whether you've popped them or not, I just want to quickly mention a newer product that they came out with. It's the same Rescue Balm formula, but it has some green color to it that helps to correct redness on the skin. So it's like putting on concealer without actually putting on makeup. It's skin beneficial. It's still signaling repair and soothing your skin, but it's also lessening the redness, which is another reason why you might be tempted to pop your pimple in the first place. So when you can mask that redness a little bit, you're a little less likely to want to intervene with your fingers. Tip number 3, which I'm about to share with you, is probably the thing that made the biggest difference with me and my pimple popping behavior. And this is the one that I think is just the most important in this entire video. When you're leaning in to that mirror, looking at what can you pop, what can you push, what can you pick, right? I want you to, hands off, take a big step back from that mirror, take a deep breath in, and connect to yourself and ask, why are you doing this? And I know that like popping the pimple helps get rid of it faster. It might speed up, you know, the healing process. Maybe you have a big event or something and you just want to get this out of your life, right? So you're just going to pop it. Maybe, right? But go deeper. Why are you doing this right now? Why are you doing this? Because there's probably a deeper reason why. And I know for me there was. And once I made this connection, it helped me break this habit. Because I started to realize that a lot of times when I was leaning into the mirror, like looking for something to pick or push or pop on my skin, was because I was stressed out. I was in a high state of anxiety. Maybe I had had a really bad day where I just felt like everything was out of my control. And so this pimple is going to be in my control. If nothing else can be, this can be. My skin can be. And I realized it was a really unhealthy coping mechanism for stress, anxiety, and feeling out of power and out of control in my life. And it gave me just that little feeling like I was controlling the situation. So once I made that connection, I was like, oh, okay. Now I can see this is a coping mechanism. This is not about the pimple. It's not about the clogged pores. It's not about making my skin feel better. This is a coping mechanism, and I really think I can probably redirect this energy into something that's more healthy and something that's actually going to help my stress and anxiety a lot more, right? Because it's kind of a bad cycle. If you're like all stressed out and stuff, and then you're getting pimples, and then you're popping them, and then you're just kind of making things worse, and then maybe you're going in and popping more, right? So it's not a healthy coping mechanism, and you may be using pimple popping in that way. So ask yourself if that feels true to you, if that feels right. If it doesn't, then that's okay. Use the other 2 tips, definitely. But if this feels right, I would highly encourage you to redirect. Take a step back, take a breath, go meditate, go journal, go talk to a friend about what's really bugging you right now. Go take a nap, go take a walk, dance around, do something else that is going to help you relieve that stress and that anxiety and that feeling of powerlessness in your life, right? And really try to get to the root cause of this, because you're just going to get trapped in this really bad cycle if you don't. So don't be afraid to look within. Don't be afraid to go a little bit deeper with yourself and really examine that. And if this feels true for you, know that there's definitely alternatives to coping with stress and anxiety. If you have any of your own personal tips for keeping your fingers off of your face and to stop popping your pimples, please share it with all of us in the comment box below. We need your wisdom because this is a hard habit to break, but hopefully some of the tips in this video and maybe some of the tips in the comments will get us back on the right track. If this video did help you out, please do consider hitting subscribe if you haven't already. I do release a lot of skincare content just like this video, so please consider turning on notifications too so you're never out of the loop when the new videos drop. I really do hope you are healthy, happy, and safe. I cannot wait to talk to you in the next video, and I'll see you soon.